controlling transmission.
Hello there. This shall be a personal consultation for those who think they're in conflict. Parents and their children, the indigos, the crystals, the rainbows. I have to move. This is energy going through my body, so pardon me moving. I just have to get this right. This is a consultation for when in conflict with family members, parents, children, friends, best friends, boyfriend, girlfriends, cheaters, beaters. The list is endless of when it doesn't harmonize. When it hurts, you'll know it. Also, when I look to the side, this is because I drift off into memories and ideas of what I have experienced. I think on a universal platform I can share with you how things can be solved. I'm not a saint, I'm not an ultimate know-it-all, but I allow myself to share it with you because I think I have certain things that make sense and will make sense and come in a timely fashion. When I had problems with my mother, as in communication, as in love, here's what we did. And I've experienced it with many of my clients also, is you run and pay your healers for 10 years? You're not changing. You're still going to the same healer. You're making the same clearance deal and nothing clears. Let me be clear. We have to stop lying to ourselves that we invest in external sources that actually don't do jack for us. If somebody comes to me more than 5 or 6 times, and if they want to drop a trunk load of money, I will tell them this is all I have. I can't give you more of what I've experienced and I can bring in to help you to be on your way and be on your way. Because if I have you coming to me 20 times, yes, I mean, it could be a lot of money, but what's that built on? What's that based on? You want progress in things and in the exchange that you project outward into the world. So, and this is unscripted, unedited, you'll see. When I had conflict with my mom, first one thing I want to say to parents and children, one thing is important is that you make peace. You do have to communicate. It's not your child or you hang up the phone because you can't process life. A lot of people that are upper class, middle class, complain about they're in a crisis and they have no money, yet they have checks coming every month. You're not in a crisis. You're in a created crisis and you're privileged. So I say to those who have, count your blessings and use your blessings. Because maybe in Soweto or in the Ukraine, there's a child in the street that waits 4 days for a cup of rice while you have your endorsement checks coming or, I don't care, alimony, child support, welfare, but at least you have something coming in. There are people out there in this world that don't know how, that sit in the bracket of where this is not coming in, and they don't really know how to survive the next day. You're privileged. You are blessed. It doesn't matter what president rules whatever fraction of the business you're in or surrounded by. What matters is, what is your choice? Is there a better choice coming from you? Your child, your friends, the teacher, the preacher, whatever label or archetypical figure you'll have, there's a good choice and there's a bad choice. Some would use religion as in certain religions say there's no good or bad. Yes, there is. We have to stop finding an excuse when things are not cool. You know, somebody commits an act that's causing misery. We don't talk about it. It piles up, it turns into a cancer, and look at what's happening right now. Prayers go to California. But you see how Earth, and however that's committed, answers to us that we live in our wealth, and fire doesn't stop your $20 million mansion from being burned to the ground. No one deserves that. But telepathically, we're being advised now to get together. Interestingly, my mother always used to say, when people live their riches, live in their little big, I don't know, like as an example, Malibu or Ventura, or you're out there and you live your lives. And then calamity is called in because you're not connecting. And this will connect you. Fukushima and many other disastrophes were conjured upon the human spirit to edge the consciousness on to come together, to make sense out of life and connect. And we don't have to have world wars to come together. We have the opportunity now and the choice for the better choice. And here's what my mother did with me when there was conflict. We never looked, and maybe that's an American thing, and maybe it's because I'm half European, which is what I am. There's no denying. I'm German and I'm American, but I'm not so American and I'm not so German. I'm in betwixt, which I enjoy, so nobody can really use or evaluate certain psychological programs. They think they know how this works because there's certain things that Germans will do. There's certain things that Americans won't do. Where do I pay attention is how to assert myself with my consciousness, when to apply what. And it takes intelligence to observe, recalibrate, and see the intelligence where it is portrayed, and not falsely by those who don't have the brains and claim to be wise. Chinese proverb, I think, is it is easy for a wise man to mimic that he's stupid. But a person that doesn't have a high intellect, by training, which is required, education, which is required, activations are required. You want to be a Jedi? Well, feel the Force. Train with the Force. Know what that Force is, the Chi, the energy, the inner Chi, the QE, the life force, the photons, the bions, everything that connects you and the sun and everything with everything, which can lead to everything. Now back to source problem. So when in conflict, sometimes people change, sometimes people do not change. And it's not also about conflict. I spoke to a person that wanted to die. She had a tumor in her brain, and she said, Ra, I want them to let me leave. I tried to give her a Ra cell, and she was already in her bed, and she got back up, but upstairs was like, she made her choice. She does not wish to renew her contract in her vessel. Even though I say suicide in a sense is not an option, because you're regressing when you forcefully invade with what nature has planned for you. But if somebody is old, let's say you're in your 80s, you've been in pain, you lived a long life, and you know your time is coming, like the ancients knew, then it is your choice and your freedom. And no healing modality can actually touch you or promise or anything, because you already made your choice to not renew the contract. This is sorely your decision and your responsibility. And when that is uttered, people have to step back and respect the architect and let go. So I said, don't worry, sweetie. I see you, and if you desire to go back home in a way you wish to transition in a peaceful way, that is your choice, and you have the utmost respect and the peace and the freedom to do so. And she cried. She said, you're the only one out of hundreds of people that need something from me that said that. And I never forget that she said that to me. Rest in peace, Cynthia. I carry the memory of her soul in my heart, always. Now, to conflict. Cherish the time you have with your loved ones while they're here. When that time is over, that character profile shall never return. When we deal with ghosts, we might deal with properties of residual emotional memory, but the soul has moved on. Nobody stays. So that's an illusion. I want to burst that bubble on a side note. So let's go back to how my mom and I handled it. So we had conflict, guess what? We sat at the table. We powwowed. And that, I'll urge you, all families, please do that. Sit down, and I say that with force, and let all the demons out. All the bones out the closets, and things have been questioned and not cleared. Let it all out. So you know who you're dealing with. And let there be peace. Because there's been lies. Amongst family, you can't really cheat, but you can create white lies about what your priority is. All I know is like once a month, my mom calls. That's the minimum. And usually when we're about to meet each other, it's like twice or 3 times because we care. It's not about I don't want to bother or I thought I'm giving you space. Children, I don't care what age you are. And parents, show each other that you care. You've created life. You brought that life here, it's your responsibility, and I don't care how old you are. And if the person is 48 like I am, I can see when somebody cares. And it's not in, oh, there's some plumbing in the house is wrong, let's pay the plumber to fix that. You fix your plumbing, not the plumber, not the healer, not an external source. Because you know what I've seen here when people come to me, clients, when I do consultations, because right now I'm taking a break. They upset that they're not being approached directly. But guess what? You cannot make the other do anything for you. They won't come or approach you. Also, I have to say that with friends and people that have been my friends and people that I've, chilled with in my life. If they don't come when they messed up to say that they're sorry, let them go. They might never come. I had people that I cooked for, that I brought food across the street, and they shitted on me. People that say, yeah, we're family, we're all in this together, and I love you, brother, and they do festivals and events globally where I'm clearly not featured or seen. And they can't be taught to do or make the better choice. They have to face their own shadow. They think, those I've seen, that are not willing to process their trials and tribulations, they run away from conflict. Well, I'm the one, like King Solomon learned, you go to the ground of powwow and you sit your ass down, and I have to pardon my French, and you talk it out and get over it. Get over your ego, get over your shadow. And then all the things and all the impressions you don't want to hear, you need to hear. All has to be put on the table. So this is also for 2018. Conflict shall end. And I do not subscribe to the belief system that life is suffering. To be born is suffering. If you make a better choice, it doesn't have to be so. Everything on earth follows its natural course. It is the human mind that has designed a faculty that thinks it's different. We have created 1,256 known deities that claim that they're the God and no one else is and they're to be worshipped. That shows you that the mirror of oneness and consciousness is fragmented into 1,276 pieces. I think there's a book, and correct me if I'm wrong, if I might have the number not quite correct, it's like 1,276 deities. 450 dominant religions that say that they are the religion. This can't be right. No book tells you how you were born. No book describes when you were born. For no prophecy tells you the hour of the now of the moment of when we awaken, for it is to be experienced. So when in conflict, don't go around each other. Speak your truth. If somebody has to walk away, well, eventually they have to walk away. But if you are mature enough to process, then you both sit down and talk it out. No weaponry necessary. No threats necessary. You're not stronger, you're not weaker, you're not this, that, and the other, but everything that is felt has to be put on the table. Yes, the full moon this month has kicked our behinds by we are having to face what we feel and what we go through naturally. But don't act it out. And I have to say this, and not everybody likes to hear this, if wherever you go, you have dogs on you, or you're in trouble, or animals don't like you, but what's wrong with you? You must change. You want to find a place, and you want to act like you're the Uber queen or the Uber king, and everything is serving you, and you come to places where you think everybody's going to roll out the red carpet, and it isn't so. Well, what's wrong with you? You can't have any expectations of life unfolding the way it's supposed to. If there are things that don't work, you have to work on yourself. And this is the work of a true Jedi, and a Jedi mind is you always have to, and this is not gender-based or transgender or sexual preference or whatever you want to call it. There's no excuse, as if you're in a human vessel, no matter what this human modus operandi looks like, you can always make a better choice. Talk about a problem. Talk it out. You can tell people, well, this is how I do things and this is how I roll, and maybe you lose friends because that's how you roll. But you're not in control. You have enough to do to discipline your mind, to be at peace with what you do and be at peace with your actions. It's also with having to do with energy. And especially with parents. I see, how often do you contact your child? Or children, how often do you contact your parents? Does any one or the other ask you on the phone, well, my daughter, how are you? How do you feel? And then say, and I have to say that's where my mom is like the God, what can I do to assist you to make that better for you if you need help? And it's not always money. But here's one thing. If my mom said she's going to give me $5, I got $5. If my mom said I'm going to give you $50 of my retirement check, even though, I got to give some money to your nephews, I got the $50. No excuse. No skittish. One day I'm in and the other day I'm not in. And with over 90% of people I've seen, this being skittish. Yes, we as children, we do it. Our parents do it. No one is innocent. But catch yourself when you make a promise and then you can't keep your promise. Like you prepare something. Let's say I would tell my nephew I'm getting a PC for Christmas. I'm saying that, okay? That's an adhesive contract. His spirit opens and he's expecting because I'm announcing. And I've seen it happen, and let's say 10 days before Christmas, say, you know what, this year was a bad year. I can't actually really give you your PC for your enjoyment. And then he gets upset. Do that with a child a couple of times when they grow up. They stop expecting anything from you. And spirit gets fragmented and frustrated. And we create these codependent love relationships in order we suffer. Mommy comes and takes care of us, so we suffer. And when mommy is gone and we have moved out, we still play the suffering, but mommy isn't there to take care of you. Or mommy says, I'll give you your space. Or daddy. Or you. And we care about ourselves. You can't take back when you put the nail into the tree for a deed that was hurting somebody. You can pull the nail out and say, well, I pulled all the nails out, but you can see all the scars that the nails have left in the tree, in the wood forever. So for whatever you do, for whatever feeling that is produced in another person, it is eternal. I've seen in the Jewish religion, which is what we all should do naturally, is they make atonement, where they, once a year, they have to write letters to the ones they hurt, or meet them and say, please forgive me. Also ritualistically, really and the others will forgive. But what I've seen is it was misused. It happened to me, where I forgave brothers and sisters in order to be betrayed again. And I don't think that I was betrayed. I was only betraying myself by allowing that in and letting it happen again. Well, if somebody kicks me in the groin 3 times, I will not position myself anymore, nor will I cook for you in my house or welcome you in my temple, because now I'm expecting you to kick me. We have to be responsible for our actions. Saying, and I'm not talking about, which is more difficult, alcohol or any addictions. That's like a difficult addiction. That's a difficult and deeper issue, which would lead ultimately into another video. But if there's an action you have brought forth that upsets somebody and you say, I shall not do it again, don't do it again. That's your Jedi training. Don't repeat that what was upsetting, and you'll heal. And my mother and I were always clear that nobody needs to run to therapy and sit in therapy. That's an excuse for parents like, oh, my child isn't functioning right, let's go to therapy. And the therapist, it has been proven, runs the protocol. The client performs according to the status quo, and then everybody says, well, my child is clear, the therapist is cool, everything is in the clear, when it's not in the clear, and you have traumas that you still carry in your cell memory. Therapy is putting to action to not do again what you did before, and showing that and proving that, and you have to prove yourself. And right now, if you haven't called your child in weeks, or you're not responding, respond, call, and be brave. And if you have to call each other names, please, no violence. So you're ready. Face each other, face each other's fear, and reveal each other. And come closer. And if you can't, because maybe your mother's mother couldn't do that, then maybe your mother doesn't even know how to transmit that love, because she's never experienced that, what it actually means to receive true love. So that false character needs to be cracked, needs to be broken. The shell will burst and the true self will come forth. That's your therapy. And that's called common sense, and not PhD and MD degree. They can't really get in depth into the soul, but just running protocols. Misery is not an option. Suicide is never an option. You degrade yourself. Somebody once said that it's like a reset switch, which is, I believe, is crap. We have a responsibility to enhance life, to bring forth life, to inspire life, and tell people life is worth living, and everything in it, and that you have to share the good, the discipline, for the better choice. So for this year's ending recommendation is make peace when peace is offered. Do not chase those that don't come forward trying to excuse themselves and saying that they're sorry, and there's been cases. Let the past go, make peace, and like I say as an Aquarian in my age, communicate, communicate, communicate. On that note, this is Arcturus Ra, and I see you most certainly on the flip side. Peace and blessings be with you. For mankind shall rise and become more powerful than the angels or ascended masters or any being from the future, past, presence, or whatever, not in this realm. because you are their offspring. Make no mistake. You are gods. You are creators. You are the flip side makers. And you are in this school. Make it good, make it so. And always, for the next year, don't come half-cocked. Go full blast. Go forward and make the better choice. I love you. You know who you are more than you can imagine.